Thank you very much, Mike. Allow me to also associate myself with the protocol already established. Your Excellency, the President, and everybody here. Today, it's an amazing day. I'm really excited as your governor to welcome AWS to Nairobi. We're grateful that you have decided to open this center in our beautiful city, the heart of the Silicon Savannah. Amazon needs no introduction. It is not only the largest technology company in the world, but it's also a household name. I believe this new development center, which is the second in Africa, will play a major role in growing Kenya's digital sector and more so the city of Nairobi. During the last decade, cloud computing was more about storage and hosted software as a service. Today, we're in the evolution of cloud computing. Our startups and businesses, just as Ambassador Meg has said, need flexible solutions, not just for data storage, but also for computing needs. The AWS Compute provides businesses the opportunity to pay only for the resources that they require, and that's a real big plus for us. The availability of on-demand services beyond storage means that businesses can scale the technology used without incurring unnecessary overheads. The provision of these capabilities is a democratization of cloud technology, where this development center not only becomes relevant for big organizations, but also for small businesses, for whom digitization is becoming critical for their operations. According to the World Economic Forum, Your Excellency, 97 million new jobs will be created by 2025 because of cloud computing and digitization. In Nairobi, our cash crop, unlike Nyandarua, where the cash crop is Waru, where my deputy comes from, in Nairobi, my DG is here, Njoroge Mushiri. In Nairobi, our cash crop is our young people who are resilient, they're ready to learn new skills, they're amazing, and they have all that with them, And any investment towards them, for us is where our priority is. PS Tony will tell you, a few years ago, he invited us to take young people to Konza. And I remember a young boy, 6-year-old from Dandora, who had just interacted with the computer for the first time, defeated everybody in coding just after 3 days of being taught. That talent is there. What lies under the ground, above the ground in Nairobi really is our talent. We don't have oil, we don't have gold, we don't have diamonds. Our greatest asset is not below the ground, it is above the ground, and it is our people. The fact, thank you. So this development center, I pray, and I'm really happy. Your Excellency, I just walked across an office around here. This development center will be important in absorbing these highly skilled young people we have and bring part of these millions of jobs to our doorsteps. The fact that AWS will use this system to support major organizations such as Toyota, Netflix, Volkswagen, and the rest, together with handling some of its research and development for new products, cements Nairobi's place as Africa's Silicon Savannah. Your Excellency, you have raised the brand of Kenya. You've raised, the attention on Nairobi. I was with you in New York, and I saw the attention of the world. Thank you for being our chief marketing officer as Nairobi and as Kenya. And really, we must thank Ambassador Meg. I have never seen an envoy who believes in her station the way you do. You've gone out there, you've sold this place. We will do our part. Downstairs, I asked Amazon Web Services, what can I do as your governor to make Nairobi more comfortable for you? They said they're already comfortable. But I'll try and do a bit more. AWS is not new to me, Your Excellency. In March this year, Nairobi City County signed a partnership with AWS. My chief officer for Smart Nairobi is here, Tyrus, and he's been leading that together with AWS. Tyrus Njoroge, thank you. It's a beneficial partnership that we have seen, that's seen the county receive 6 months worth of AWS cloud credits. We have leveraged on this platform for various projects, including we host our liquor licensing system on this platform currently, and we intend to do much more. Through AWS, we've also co-created a citizen engagement and disaster reporting application, semana047.nairobi.go.ke, which we will launch very soon this month, because it is going to, we leverage on this platform as part of our El Nino preparedness, so people can report incidences and can get responses immediately from the county. Our efforts towards creating a city of order, dignity, hope, and opportunity for all will be realized by largely through exploiting data for decision making. As Nairobi City County moves towards reinventing its operations with data in the quest to create a comprehensive and inclusive smart city, we invite AWS to work with us to realize this. Your Excellency, I'm not wearing 2 watches because I'm flashy. I'm flashy, but not because of wearing 2 watches. This watch here is our Tap to Eat school feeding application. All our children in Nairobi are wearing this watch. We're using technology. We know how many children are eating every day, the quantity of food they're taking, the content, and we can tell that they've paid through technology, and we want to use more of this technology in partnership with AWS. We believe that our partnership will help us achieve these ambitions. We don't take it for granted that you chose Nairobi. You could have chosen any other part of the continent. Thank you for being in Nairobi. We look forward to many more years of partnership with you, AWS, in supporting the county, local businesses, and creating job opportunities. Your Excellency, as I go to conclude, a few years ago when I was a senator for Nairobi, I had visited Silicon Savannah, Palo Alto, and I was giving a speech at the Institute for the Future. And somebody there asked me, how is it that we're seeing so much innovation coming out of Kenya and out of Nairobi? And I told them, the world today is a small global village. Our young people in Nairobi are not competing with people in Machakos. The technology, the tools that are available are the same. So while they might be innovating there for luxury and for shopping, we're innovating to connect families to water. We're innovating to, cash transfer. We're innovating to really, because necessity is the mother of invention. And that is why Kenya can now compete at a global scale. As we think about our education, and I'm glad you've spoken about the TVETs, etc., let us remember, those young people in Kisumu are not being trained to compete with young people in Nairobi, but with young people in Japan, with young people in Germany. We must give them those tools in their hands. And so in the Senate, I sat down, I looked for Twiga, I looked for Celilant, I looked for Sendi, I looked for these startups that were scaling. Twiga was, I think would have been our first unicorn in Kenya. And I asked them, what is it that government could do for you differently years before for you to get to where you are? And we came up with a startup bill. Your Excellency, the startup bill that time, provided for de-risking of some of these investments. The national government or the county cannot invest in these companies, but we need to de-risk the venture capitalists. Kaufman Fellows were here just a few weeks ago and they met you, and many other such fellowships of venture capitalists. Unfortunately, the bill didn't go through because of time, but I'm very happy that through your CS Chelugui, we've sat down again, we've rejigged that bill. It's unfortunate that when we did the bill, part of those in my team were from Nigeria. They took the bill in Nigeria, they passed it. So Nigeria has a startup act drafted by the governor of Nairobi. And Nairobi does not have a startup legislation because we can really, really incentivize rapidly scalable companies, create a virtual special economic zone. Your Excellency, not all of these people need to come to one place, but you can have a virtual SEZ wherever they are, in their bedrooms, in their houses, and give them those incentives to grow. They will be able to create employment. Of course, we continue to support e-commerce. Your Excellency, you have supported us. We now have our physical addressing and street naming system in Nairobi for e-commerce, for deliveries to be done properly. Finally, I love Amazon. One of the books that I've given every of my executives is a book called Working Backwards. It was written by Colin Breyer and Bill Carr. It talks about the leadership principles and mechanisms that made Amazon scale. Your Excellency, I'll give you a copy. If you look at, not because you need it, you're doing really well, but it's interesting to see how that the company grew, from a small operation to the biggest one of the biggest companies in the world by just 14 leadership principles and their mechanisms, the cadences, the kind of meetings they have. And their first principle is 100% obsession with the customer. That is what we're doing in Nairobi. We're saying we must have 100% obsession with the customer, who is the person, the people of Nairobi, the Mwananchi. I'm sure it's a book you'll enjoy because I know you really like reading and you read very quickly. So I'll bring it to you this evening because I also need to see you again. Your Excellency, with those many remarks, Karibuni Nairobi, Amazon. You have a beautiful space. I love how you've done the office. The furniture is local. You're setting a great example for us, just really leveraging on what Kenya has to provide. Anything you ever require, I am right across the door. I'm available for you. Thank you, Excellency. Your Excellency, allow me to invite PS, our YCT, who will also recognize the other officers from the national government. Anybody from the county government, please stand up. We have not recognized you. We have the Deputy Governor, Njoroge Mushiri. Your Excellency, Njoroge Mushiri was a Chief Technology Officer, Operating Officer at ABSA.